Oh, fun! Another Star Citizen video. Inside Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, what we do in space. It's already out, guys. Welcome to the channel. This is awesome. I was so distracted with No Man's Sky. Turns out that we already have 4.0. Let's watch this and, taking all the good news.
By this point, it's pretty safe to say that all of you watching now know that Pyro is the next star system upcoming to the Star Citizen Persistent Universe in the upcoming Alpha 4.0. And 2 weeks ago, we started ISC's journey through the jump point to get there. And it's a good one. You should check it out if you haven't already. But what is there actually to do in the Pyro system once we get there? It's not all just pandemonium and chaos. To start,
It's pandemonium, as if there's a lot of stuff to do, right? Instead of there's nothing, there's the same old box deliveries. It's pandemonium and madness and crazy stuff. Oh, so much new content, or words.
Every mission type and every gameplay system we've developed for Stanton works there as well. That means a life of cargo, salvage, mining, bounty hunting missions, and more are already ready to go due to their systemic
It's so fucking predictable, man.
development. But that's just the head start. There are also a number of new mission types, gameplay systems, and wholly unique experiences that arrive with Pyro and Alpha 4.0. And we'll be spending the next several weeks discussing them. Starting this week with what we do in space, where we're talking about a new kind of space station built with the more efficient level design lessons learned in Stanton. A brand new, ongoing, never stopping, never quitting contested zone system that'll reward you more and more the longer you can hold it. And a sneak peek at asteroid bases that'll require both ship and FPS combat combined to overcome and explore for its rewards. Let's find out more.
I shit you not, if he actually shows real content worth your time, I'm all for it, man. I'm not a hater. I would, fingers crossed, I'm dead wrong. Oh. So no.
So let's start with space stations.
So in Pyro we have 12 space stations. One of them is the jump point station that you arrive at, coming from Stanton.
When you arrive in the gas cloud, you can't see every part of the station. It's impossible. In your cockpit, you're just gonna see like a bit of it. And then when you get closer, you're gonna see like, oh, yeah, that's huge.
They are quite a bit bigger and more involved than you would find in Stanton.
This is what being gaslight is. You're being actively lied to. It is the same space station with more shit around it, but it's basically the same thing as we've had before. This is what being gaslight means. It is the same thing, you're just being bullshitted. Oh, no, this is super different because there's stuff here. Okay.
In your cockpit, you're just gonna see like a bit of it. And then when you get closer, you're gonna see like, oh, yeah, that's huge.
They are quite a bit bigger and more involved than you would find in Stanton.
The exteriors are very aggressive looking. They're very spiky. There's an almost fractal nature to it.
The space stations are owned to like different like factions, so you can see like the factions and branding on top of some of the stations. And then you can see like, oh, if like Wrath and Ready, you're gonna have problems.
The Rough and Ready gang is one of our main operators in the Pyro system. Almost every single rest stop refueling station is going to be run by Rough and Ready. They started off back in 2939 when this enforcer named Rook had enough. He had this great plan about how they could take over the fuel operations in the system, and the ruling council of the headhunters deemed that it was too risky.
Wasn't it that we're gonna be seeing awesome new content, pandemonium? Instead, we're killing time. This is a time sink with fucking lore. Or you're telling me a story, showing me a guy, and you're telling me a story.
But a lot of other people had gotten wind of Rook's plans, and so he ended up splintering off and kind of forming his own gang. Rook decided to take on the symbology of Rest and Relax, which is a known refueling station, kind of do their own spin on it. And he took the double R and they became Rough and Ready. While they're totally down to defend their territory and they're not going to take any BS from anyone who's opening fire or hurting their business, they also don't get dragged unnecessarily into conflict.
Each of the 12 stations will have a unique exterior. And some of the ones will be Starlight Service Station.
This is code word for they're gonna be exactly the same, but we did some paint bullshit on the outside so as to pretend they're unique when they're not. Okay.
Obituary. A very happy name. Gaslight. But
oh, Gaslight. Oh, dear God, you did it. Gaslight. Yes. Yeah. This is so ironic. Yeah. They're all the same. They're all exactly the same. They just have different names and different little design on the outside.
That's not what it's really called. And Megumi Refueling, which is not as easy as it sounds to say. And of course there's Checkmate Station, which is a little bit different to how you may have seen it in Pyro Playground and CitizenCon. And there's also Ruin Station.
What sets Ruin apart? It's the big LEO. It was originally Checkmate that you would have seen in Pyro, but it's been greatly expanded. It has significantly revised and enlarged interior with much more gameplay opportunity.
When you arrive in...
They're all the same. They copy-pasted the same thing. That noodle stand and all that, they copy-pasted the same thing 12 times. They have no shame.
Pyro Space Station, you'll recognize some of the activities that you already do in Stanton to be done there as well.
They have the same facilities, things like weapon shops, food.
They have the same facilities is CIG code word for we copy-pasted all of this shit.
Ports, hangars.
You have direct access from your hangar to the cargo deck, and that's where you can buy your commodities or sell them, and then you can return right away into your instance hangar and then go off on your trip. From there you can also access the external freight elevators to easily load your whole seas, and so we've made these gameplay loops much less tiring.
What gameplay? I mean, it's been already 4 minutes. You haven't talked about anything different, anything new. You haven't even talked about any gameplay whatsoever. It is explaining what is obvious to anyone that has a pair of eyeballs. And yes, hangars, and there's going to be ships. And you know what? There's going to be space too. Whoa!
In Pyro.
And in Ruin Station, we'll have something called the Ghost Arena, which will let you discover for yourselves.
So our contested zone, design-wise, we are likening them to kind of a classic MMO dungeon. Instead of the primary way of accessing this content being behind missions, we are taking more of an open approach.
It is an open space for players to go in and farm, get loot.
They did nothing. Motherfuckers. They have done nothing all year. This is all that we've already saw. This is what we've already seen. They have nothing. I was 100% correct in my prediction about how cheap and miserable they would be. They've done nothing whatsoever for this thing.
Some special rewards and explore the station even more.
So what I really like about the contested zones is the fact that they are right there next to the social space. It's really quick access, which I think is something that makes Pyro unique. You can be in the social space, you have your shops, you have the hub, the clinic, but the contested zone is right there, often through just a door, an airlock.
This will be very visually distinctive. It'll be very cold, there'll be ice along the walls. Some of these don't have the life support systems. The power will be generally out.
We have booby traps and mines. You'll hear the odd rustling inside the vents.
They have no shame, nothing, none, no shame left, nothing. To make such... there's going to be lasers. These lasers are going to be having like a red light. It's going to be an emitter. And if you touch, they're filling space with the nothingness that this thing is.
With some potential surprises in it.
At some point you'll be facing multiple doors, and every door is giving you different things to fight, different rewards, and so you have to choose where to go. And some of them will be blocked through some puzzle elements like key cards to allow you to open the door and access the wing.
Some areas are more secure than others with better rewards. Other areas are highly contested and there's more players coming into that space and more like an arena. We really want to take advantage of that, the vibe for Pyro of PvP, of lawlessness, of being out sometimes alone, but hopefully you're there with your buddies to help back you up.
The zone inhabits various types of outlaws. These inhabitants are a constant population within this space, so they're not spawned via missions, they just exist there, and they will respawn over time.
There's no interaction, there's nothing you do with these so-called people that are populating this. It's just a JPEG standing there with no interaction, no feedback, nothing. There's nothing here. It is incredible.
So this is a constantly inhabited space with a constant flow of challenges. It also inhabits creatures. Whilst we currently only have Copians, we are also thinking about expanding that potential.
They use the same fucking creature. They use the same fucking dog. They're so lazy, so miserable. You use the same damn dog. You didn't even change the thing's color. Oh God.
Potentially in the future.
In the future. Fuck off.
The ends could, you could be fighting bosses.
A boss fight?
Yes, we would definitely want bosses. They could be guarding the best loot. They could be mission-based bosses.
Oh, best loot. What's the best loot? Rocket launcher? Railgun? That's the loot?
That spawn as well. So whether these boss fights come to the contested zones or not, in 4.0 or beyond, is still up for development, but I would personally really like to see that kind of thing added to contested zones to make them feel special.
So we're adding contested zones for 4.0 really to capitalize on the atmosphere, the lawlessness, having players compete with one another, where there's really that tension of getting that loot out of there, but having to fight your way to do it, fight your way in,
picking up a box.
This is all PvP, so you got to be careful and always be watching out for other players.
Sounds like a meat grinder.
It could be a meat grinder, especially being in...
No, it's gonna be shit. It's gonna be horrible PvP because FPS is fucking horrible in this thing. It is kind of shameless what they're doing, but pretending that that's the new gameplay that you have. Go pick a box, fight in this room. Yeah, that's what we do. This is the game. Best space sim ever.
Pyro, with the PvP aspect, that's something that we are designing towards. Players may choose to go in to hunt other players, which I think adds a really interesting element to, because not only are you...
Why? Why would you do that? What is the reward? What reward do I get? Do you get any special weapon? Do I get a little guy that I put in my non-existent apartment in space? Why would you even do this? Why would you bother yourself with the most horrible FPS in any video game these days? For what? Oh, there's a room in which you can all go and shoot each other. Okay, fun? All right.
Wary of the traps, the puzzles, but you have to kind of be wary, watch your back, ambushes from players, that kind of stuff.
For the social core, we've left the green zones so that people can still have an enjoyable social experience. So you don't have to worry about getting ganked every 2 minutes by other players, at least for the social space.
Unlike the global events that you know, such as the Siege of Orison or Overdrive, these are spaces that always exist and that you can always go into.
Loot that you've already gotten is going to come back. The time door that we have is timed based off of the world. So you have a really huge incentive to stay there, to keep holding your ground, to really make it.
I love that they're so fucking cheap and lazy that they use the same dog. They didn't even bother getting any new creature, like like an alien xenomorph or some shit like that. That would have been cool. But no, let's not even pay a Chinese dude $20 to make something different. No, let's just use the shit we already have.
It's your space as long as you can before other people take it from you. And I think that's one of the things that's really exciting to me about bringing this to Pyro.
Pyro has a number of asteroid clusters. They are the newer, larger asteroid clusters, so they should look and feel very different to the ones in Stanton.
No, it is still nothing. It's still rocks. There's nothing new. Guys, it's almost 10 minutes in, or a 14-minute video. There's nothing. We have a station that you already saw that we copy pasted 12 times. There's a room in which you can shoot at each other. That's it. Oh, and we copy pasted the same dog.
Asteroid bases for us are really trying to take advantage of our universe better in terms of the locations that we have. Space is big, space is massive, but...
Oh, yeah. He's almost talking like Kamala Harris now. Space is big, massive, there's a lot of it, and it's like big, you know? It's like whoa, how big is this space? we're reaching, I mean, minimal IQ levels of marketing here, guys. Come on.
Our game, often we don't take as much usage of it as we should. We're taking procedural asteroids and we're carving these locations into it. And we're really providing a lot of variety in the gameplay in a form factor space.
Essentially, we're utilizing the station interior set that we have created, and we're wrapping them around an asteroid, a big asteroid that...
I mean, I'll translate. They copy-pasted the same thing they already copied and pasted 12 times, and they copy-pasted out again in places where you cannot have your hangar. Basically, that's what they're doing here, and yeah, you can go here and shoot at each other. All right.
Allows us to be a lot more versatile with the kit that we have and create some...
A loot box! I've never seen one of these. Does it have like a rocket launcher or a railgun?
Interesting layouts for you.
Asteroid Base gives us the opportunity to create missions where you can be in space, then you have to go on the interior to continue the mission. We made a little twist of the bunker, little space where we can have some missions, but in space.
Sometimes we could start with ship combat. You could have heavily defended areas on the outside. You could be engaging enemies outside on the landing pad.
Some of them even have copium infestations.
That should be fun.
They have the same station with the same dog in it, and they try to make it something separate. And yeah, and we have the station with a dog.
That should be fun.
No, it's not. I swear it's not.
Asteroid bases are not just for combat. Because they're procedural asteroids, one of the things that's really cool about them is we can have multiple routes into these locations. So players can EVA and enter through a vent hatch. You could find your way in through a hangar. You could go straight through the front door. But there's a lot of room for exploration, finding loot that's been hidden there with loot crates, and find certain items that are important for you that you want to use to progress through Pyro.
Progress, okay. Oh, so I'll use those materials to build my base? Or build my own spaceship? Or maybe make a new weapon? That's what they're talking about?
Things that you haven't seen before in Stanton.
Can you tell us what that is?
No, I don't want to spoil it.
No, yeah. It's going to be super unique for sure.
As a baseline, we wanted to bring Pyro up to par with all the content that we already have in Stanton, but also make it unique. We believe that with the addition of contested zones and asteroid stations and all the other little pieces will give us unique aspects that really make it feel different from Stanton.
We're really looking forward to you finally getting your hands on the full experience of the stations. There's been a lot of effort put into them. There's a lot more diversity now inside and outside of the stations, both in terms of visuals and design.
Asteroid bases and contested zones, for us, are two really...
It's the same enemies. They use the same enemies. They could not even be bothered to do like some cool different armor. No, nothing. They don't put money into this thing. They're not making a game. They're just ripping you off. They're just tricking you into thinking there's something cool worth your time, and especially worth your money, when there's nothing. Nothing.
Exciting new location types that we're bringing to the fans for Pyro. It's not a global event, so it's long-term. It's always going to be there. You can come back, get new cool stuff, advance your progression, and have fun with...
Advance your progression. Yes, they're completely shameless. They have nothing left of that.
Your friends and your party, your orgs, and, have a great time in Pyro.
Okay, so all of the new cool gameplay was all bullshit, as everything else they say. More lies, more there is. I'm, you know what? I'm tired of being right. I would love to be proven wrong just once with these people. No, they got you, man. They showed something that they hadn't done before. Right? That's cool. No. They use the same things all over again. This is gonna be the distribution centers. That's the cool part. That's the new gameplay. More boxes with a different color for a gun. That's the new stuff you're giving us, man? Really? Progression? What the fuck are you even talking about? What kind of progression? You have nothing that persists. There is nothing that you progress towards anything. You don't have a home base. You don't have settlements. You don't have any, even a little apartment in some derelict city. You don't have any cities. You don't have any city. No, it's space and pyro, blah, blah, blah. Copy pasting the same thing 12 times. Motherfuckers. Copy pasting the same thing 12 times and then using the same asset so as to have an even more randomly generated sameness with these asteroid bases, which is the same thing, but you can basically have a hangar there. I don't know. You do whatever, guys. I wish we would have something cool to play. We don't. This is, at this point, is it really a scam? You know, yeah. What else can you call this? When they have lied so much and keep on lying and then lie and lie and lie even more about what they're doing, about where the money is going, which is definitely not into developing this pile of shit that you see here. The money is going where? What is it going to? Buying buildings? Buying real estate? Buying our yacht for Chris? What the hell is it that they're doing? Because I damn sure as hell know that it's not going into making this. Go check No Man's Sky in terms of what is to have a game with real new content. With it periodically, for free. That's new game content, not this shit. Having stories, having evolution, having progression, having something that you strive towards. Why the fuck would I engage in the most horrible FPS shooting PvP that is known to man at this stage? Why? What for? What is the reward I have as a player? Do I get a new ship that I bought in-game? Do I waste time repeating something so as to get something that is unique and I actually get to keep that? Do I unlock something else that I haven't seen before? No. So there's no progression, nothing. You don't progress towards anything. You have a couple places that have been copy-pasted in which I do the same old box mission and the same old loot box and PvPing. You want to know how fun that is? Go check Jumptown now. How Jumptown 2.0. How much fun is that? No one fucking does it because it's boring. Because you haven't been bothered to do a game. And we can tell. And everyone else is telling, and this is fucking dead. Anyway, see you next time, guys. Enjoy.